everyone, and thanks for joining our discussion on sustainability in field service management. I'm Brad Hawkins, the Chief Solutions Officer at Service Power, and I'm delighted to be joined by Andrew Keating, Group Service Director at BDR Thermea. We have an interesting topic today, as sustainability is on just about everyone's organization's list of top priorities. We're going to go through a few questions today that I believe are quite topical, and I'm looking forward to the discussion. So let's get started. I first want to give a big welcome to Andrew, and Andrew, give you a chance to do an introduction.
Hi, Brad. Well, thank you for the opportunity to talk about this really important product and topic. So, first of all, BDR Thermea, who are we? We manufacture and distribute smart thermal comfort solutions. We focus on providing near zero carbon footprint solutions for building owners and users, and we innovate in the areas you'd expect us to do in terms of technology and solutions for our customers. And we also have a very important part of what we do is the service business that we have operating throughout our group, which is the bit that I lead. And that's the area where we're focusing on how do we support our end users and our B2B customers with different types of services. So it's a pleasure to talk to you.
Great, thanks. Thanks again for doing this. Let's go ahead and get right into the questions. All right, so how do you align your organization's sustainability goals and initiatives with KPIs such as workforce productivity and the customer experience? I have a lot of thoughts on that, but I'll let you go first, Andrew.
I think it's I think that's always one of the challenges, and sometimes some people can see those as a conflict. I don't know that we do necessarily. I mean, at the highest level, our vision of our organization is about bringing a sustainable future with the products and services that we bring to market. And in our key values as an organization, sustainability is one of those key values, because we hear from our customers and feel from our customers how much they value having a partner in their sustainability journey, but particularly in the sector that where we're providing essentially HVAC solutions for commercial and residential use. So as a group, we have a broad-ranging set of sustainability goals, obviously around the way in which we manufacture products, but certainly in the area that I focus on, how do we, when we've got nearly 1,000 field technicians driving around different parts of a very broad UK and Europe map, as it were, how do we best ensure that we deliver the service that customers want and are on a sustainability journey ourselves? So that's, I guess, what we think about. In terms of what's important to us, we tend to be more driven by meeting the customer's expectation, and giving great service. So we know that to do that, that's about making promises and keeping them. For us, it's about having people turn up on time with the right skills, the right tools to do the job, the right spare parts to do the job, and fixing first time. So that blend of being able to make promises and keep them, and then get the right person with the right resources to the right place at the right time, and do it once and do it well, is very important. So a lot of our KPIs are focused around achieving those goals, and in some part that helps with the sustainability journey.
Yeah, I think that's the key part. Is what I would suggest is, when you talk about sustainability, I don't think anybody has this is our sustainability metric, right? That comes from other metrics. You have to define what those other metrics are. And they're exactly as you said, is if you think about something like, okay, sustainability could mean we want to make sure we're reducing our carbon footprint or carbon emissions. Well, what leads to that? And when you talk about, our customer experience is our number one priority. We want happy customers. Things to do to bring about happy customers also can lead to sustainability, which is I want to ensure that when I'm sending out a resource, I'm sending out the absolute best possible resource to get the best possible outcome, get a product fixed the first time, ensure that I've gone out with the right parts on my truck to ensure that first time fix, make sure my routes are optimized. So all the things that lead to a good field service experience can also be attached to sustainability. I always kind of joke that there's like a math problem associated with that. If I'm doing all these metrics of first time fix, best, the metric that shows that I've sent the best possible technician out, I've optimized routes, I've optimized everything about that, that's going to lead to that sustainability, less windshield time. So it's really, again, sort of understanding the metrics underneath sustainability that lead to it. So
yes, I think so, and agree. And it's stating the obvious a little bit, but if you go back to the same customer twice or three times, by definition, you've doubled or trebled the, let's say, the carbon cost per job, just by going back. So we do think about that a lot, and that we know that's important to the experience, but you can also see, some of the direct sustainability benefits from it, because our main sustainability challenge in field service is there are others, but it's predominantly vehicle emissions are is the key nut to crack, as it were. And certainly from a group point of view, when we look at the emissions from making things, the emission and from moving things, we also look at the emissions cost of supporting the things that we make, and a lot of that comes down to how the field technicians perform in the vehicles that we give them, with the tasks and the demands that we put upon them.
Yep. I think you're gonna start to see a theme across everything we talk about here as we go through these questions. So. Let's go ahead and go to the next question.
Yeah.
And I'll go ahead and read that off. Okay, so can you speak to organizational goals around carbon emissions and field service contribution to those goals?
Yeah. Well, we've got some very specific organizational goals on a number of the things I've already mentioned. But specifically in field service, we're very interested in how we can see somewhere greater than a 30% reduction in total emissions by the time we get to 2030. And we think, and that's got to take into account that our business will continue to grow. So you always have that dichotomy, or that challenge in a way of, well, if my service organization gets bigger, I'm doing more work for more customers, by definition your carbon footprint's going to get bigger. So we're blending a couple of things there when we talk about seeing that reduction. So that's a very specific set of targets that we've got, and then with in each of the regions or countries that we're operating. So if I'm talking with the team in Spain, in Italy, in France, in Germany, UK, in the Netherlands, each of those regions face their own specific challenges in terms of how they serve customers, and how they can use the technologies. But everybody shares the same goal of let's see a 30% plus reduction in total emissions, even while we're significantly growing what we do.
Yeah, and one of the keys to that, what that made me think about, is as you're an organization that's growing, when you can show that you're using the tools that gain you those efficiencies, that ensure, again, less windshield time, less multiple trips out to a consumer. That, again, I think the services that are being requested, they are always going to be there. So that is a number that is always going to be there. And so ensuring, I think that's important to consumers, if they can look to an organization that, hey, who am I going to choose among all the competitors out there that I'm going to take, my services to, or my buying decisions. That's why it's important that, it's even more important that as you're growing bigger, you're also showing that you're doing it in a way that is sustainable, and is like carbon neutral. And that's one of the great things about having these tools that you can use that ensure that as your organization grows, you're still, staying neutral, or even bringing it down as you go.
Yeah, no, exactly. And I think that, there is of course the opportunity for us, and we're starting to invest in it in a group where we're bringing on board in a number of countries now, fully electric vans, to start to understand the practicalities of that, about how can we use that vehicle technology to reduce emissions. and we've got successful trials now in place in pilots both in the UK and in Germany, and we're getting some really positive adoption from our field technicians about that type of technology, and we're also learning about its impact on how do you best optimize route? Do you need to recharge the vehicle during the day? And I think it brings another dynamic, let's say, to smart scheduling, and all of the algorithm and all of the technology that supports that. So, simple things like if you're having to reallocate people during the day, you're able to match their skill set together with the capability or the performance of their vehicle. So, I think having that engine that's really smart about scheduling, smart about skills, and you've got confidence in doing great route planning. Once the vehicle technology starts to change, and we'll find our way there. I think it's that's a very powerful blend. Because not having smart scheduling and having vehicles running out of power in the wrong place, obviously,
Right.
sort of
It's exactly
gets rid of the core mission here of serving customers.
Right, exactly. And it's exactly what we're looking at here as it relates to there's the component of one, do I have to schedule in stops for, again, do I got to send a tech to a charging station? But it's also how do I pull that information off the vehicle to use as part of that schedule to, again, to understand what's the battery charge look like? How many miles do I have left for the day? So where should I be sending that tech? It just becomes another decision process, decision parameter in part of the optimization process.
Yeah.
Right.
I agree with you. I mean, we've started by identifying, we can see clearly from the tools we've got, those field technicians have got the type of routes and the type of, general work pattern which could suit them. So we've gone for, as you would expect, we've gone for places where we're really confident that we'll have success, as it were, and then let's learn about some of the range challenges if they exist in the easiest places. But you're right. You can see very clearly that having the scheduling engine interacting and understanding what's going on is super important to us.
Yep, absolutely. Okay, let's move to the next question here. All right. Kind of what we were just talking about. For organizations with a large fleet of vehicles to support in-home services, what impact can capabilities such as optimization have on fuel costs, carbon footprint, labor costs, and productivity?
Yeah. Well, indeed. I mean, I think, that to some degree in the world we live in at the moment, there's a sort of a direct relationship between fuel costs and carbon footprint, certainly where it comes from vans. But we've recently introduced service power into our operations in Belgium, and we're in the last 18-24 months, and we've seen 20% improvements in our, let's say, our journey productivity, let's say, of the field technicians that we're using in Belgium. So we've obviously had long experience in the UK also with the solution, so we know it, but it's great to see it in a new country. So you can see the direct impact of the technology there. I think the other thing that we're doing to focus around, let's say, that last point there about productivity, one of the other things that can affect emissions is the way in which the driver or the field technician actually drives, and that they're not heavy-footed, they're practicing good driving practices, as it were. And sometimes we're supporting that with telematics, but that they've got a good behavior, one that they're getting themselves from place to place in a safe way for themselves and others, but also that they're getting them there themselves in a sustainable way. So we have got support training going on in the background, and more plans in the future for how do we continue to invest in the technicians, let's say, driving capability and understanding of what they're doing, but it really helps when they've got confidence in the schedule and they don't have a sense of I need to put my foot down because I need to race from A to B because I know the tools, I know the tools, but a bit of a game, as it, or I think the tool is a bit of a game. So no, I think that it's a very important combination of things, of vehicle training and behaviors, but fundamentally confidence in the solution and what you're being asked to do every day. So yeah, I think I would bring things together in that way as well here.
Yeah. What I think it's something really important for people to hear as it relates to, we use the term in the question scheduling optimization, and especially
Yeah,
as this relates to sustainability,
yeah,
is a lot of people confuse optimization with, they just think it's route optimization, and
yeah,
it's not just
yeah,
about an optimized route, because you're right, in creating an optimized schedule, if you have an organization with 1,000 techs, you might find that tech who his schedule got it. He might look at some things and go, why am I going over here, then going over there? But he doesn't understand in the bigger picture. You
yeah,
were evaluating based on maybe 10 data points of, local knowledge. Again, what parts are on the truck, the efficiency and knowledge
yeah.
of the tech, and those can all matter. And again, that goes to the overall view of, well, I want a first time fix. I want to only do one truck roll. So it goes beyond just the route portion.
No, no, for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
absolutely.
no,
So,
you
yep.
know, and I agree with you. And and I think one of the things that we also value a lot internally is that skills element.
Mhm.
I'm sure many of your other customers do as well, but we're certainly working in a increasingly technically complex environment where it's critical, mission critical, to have the right skill set in the right van going to the right location. Heat pump gas engineers can't fix heat pumps, and heat pump engineers are not so good at fixing gas appliances, in the same way, as it were. So yeah, I think it all needs to come together really well, and we see scheduling optimization as much. It's okay. Of course, there's an element of route planning, but it's not really about that. If this is right skills, right time, right place, and confident that we're going to see a happy customer with a first time fix.
Yep, absolutely. Okay, good stuff. I think we have one more question.
Okay.
All right, how do we think technology will play a role in sustainability efforts?
Well,
Yeah.
in a critical way. I think
Absolutely.
you can you can look, if you switch all the vans to electric power, of course, from an emissions point of view, you can make a difference. But to be honest with you, it'll never be affordable unless you've got good, strong operational control backed up by a powerful set of KPIs and a really strong technical engine that's configured to deliver the sort of services that we want to offer. So no, it's critical. And I suppose one of the things that gives me great confidence when we're making internal promises about delivering emissions targets, gives me confidence that we, with the right partners, we can do this.
Right. I think, to state the obvious again, technology is already obviously playing a role in sustainability efforts, but we live in this time now where our technology leaps seem to be faster and faster. And, when I was looking at this question, I thought of things like, what's burst onto the scene lately, OpenAI,
Yeah.
ChatGPT, that's just like exploded. And so for me, it's things like that just show where we're heading even further towards, predictive type
Yeah.
capabilities, more predictive, better. What things can I offer to a consumer up front? What things can I ensure the tech knows up front based on the data that we know? So the ability to predict things, and I can put things like better equipped chatbots in front of people that, again, have access
Hmm.
to all this information. I do think we're going to go through a time period of sort of cleansing that, because what I see from something like ChatGPT is it's out there, it's taking the information it finds, whether it's right or wrong, and putting it in front of people. So we're going to go through a period where we have to ensure our data and our information is completely accurate. But future technology is leading us more and more to a predictive future to ensure that that event, everything's planned in advance, and you're ensuring you have everything you need one trip out and done. That's where I think that's how it's going to affect the field service world, which in turn then affects sustainability.
Yeah, I think you're right there, Brad. And of course, we have some instances where when we're monitoring appliances and we can fix without a service visit, and I guess we're, in a sense of the vehicle, carbon free at that point. But I think we also know that in lots of occasions that's just not possible. So you need somebody physically in the right place at the right time. And I think, like you say, the technology can certainly help the field tech, problem solve. Gosh, Apple have shown us their ambition and vision around, pardon the pun, around headsets, etc. And I'm sure in the next few years there'll be more to come there about how do we assist techs to solve complex problems. But still, fundamentally, we'll be interested about right people, right skills, right place to do
Yep.
what's right for the customer.
Absolutely. So I think that was our last question. I think this
Okay.
pretty much wraps this up. So again, thank you so much, Andrew, for participating. For those who are listening to this, thank you for taking the opportunity to take a listen, and hopefully you found some value in this. But again, Andrew, thank you. We appreciate it.
No, thank you very much, Brad. Good to talk to you.